So here we are now at soundtrap.com. I'm actually in the education tab right now because that's where I made my account. What we want to do now is log in. So before we do so, just to review quickly, is you've already downloaded all of the files that you're going to need, because if you haven't done this yet, you can't do this next tutorial. Okay, and you've also become aware of where you can find under post-production Mr. Elsie's tutorials for Audacity, which you're not going to be using in Soundtrap, but these first 3 tutorials will help you understand some of the broader concepts. Okay, now I'm going to go to the very last tutorial, and I'm going to show you where we're going here. This is what your finished product is going to look like, your project. Okay, and this is the radio commercial. It's going to look similar to this, not identical. So what have we got here? Let me just break it down for you. This first track, this is called a track going across. It's the male clips. Okay, all the male voices are on one track, and we had to space them out so that they happen at the right time. The female clips are on a second track that are also timed out so that they're not speaking over each other. Okay, so all the female voices are on one track, all the male voices are on one track. Each of the sound effects, there's 6 sound effects I've used. 2 of the sound effects are under the knife sound effects. One is where you hear the knife being pulled out of its sheathing, and the other is when you hear the chopping. Okay, so I've used 2 different knife sound effects. There's one there, and there's the other. Every single sound effect will be on its own track. Okay, so this track here, if I select it, I can't actually select it because I'm actually watching a video right now, but the fire extinguishers, there's only one sound on that track, and it's the fire extinguisher. The music, it's only music on that track. So all of the sound effects and music have their own track. The voices, the male, all of the clips are on one track, spaced out properly. The female voice is all on one track, spaced out. Okay, so that's where we're going with this whole project in Soundtrap. So let me go to Soundtrap. Let's log in. Okay, I'm going to log in with my Google. And I'm going to use my school account. Hopefully you just used your initials. You didn't use your first and last name. Okay, and we're using a trial version again. You have 30 days to do this. If you notice, my name is up here in the top of this screen, and also over here on the right, I know that this is my account. Okay, so scroll down halfway, go to My Projects tab, and you notice under My Projects right now, there's no projects. I've deleted everything I was doing prior. So it's empty, just like yours. So what we're going to do to start is just click on Enter Studio. And it's going to bring you to this screen. It's saying, okay, what kind of project do you want to make? Are you making some music? So like 30 seconds of a beat track? No, we're not doing that. We're doing more of a podcast. We're using voices and different sound effects. So we're going to select podcast. And it brings you to this open screen here. Okay, and this is the workspace for Trap Sound. Okay, so right now nothing's in there. So what do we have to do first? We have to start to add our sounds to this project. What you have along the left side here, just like I showed you right here, I'll bring that full, is there's your tracks. There's the names of your tracks. There's the content in here on what's called the timeline. Along the top, that's called the timeline. Same with Soundtrap. Okay, so there's the actual audio clips, and there's the tracks that they're laid into. So let's go back to Soundtrap, and let's add our first new track. Now, let's go and look at the, I'll do it this way. I'll go and look at the script, because I'm going to have that as a reference. I'm going to open the script. So you can decide if you want to print it. It's probably easier. There's my script. What's the first line? It's the male voice, and the male voice is saying, I'm making dinner tonight. And it actually says, hello, dear, I'm making dinner tonight. So that's the first line. Now, conveniently, what you'll find is all of the clips are numbered, and the number corresponds to the list of the voices and the sounds, the voices as they appear here. So the first female clip number is this line of the script, okay? So that just makes it easy for you. So let me get out of this script. You're going to need to use the script to refer to. I'm going to go back to Soundtrap. And I know I just saved this. I didn't want to do that. I'll do that later. I want to create a new track. And it's going to say, what kind of track do you want to make now? Am I doing instruments? No. I'm going to do voice and music and microphones. Okay, so I'm just going to click voices and microphones to make a new track. And now you can see up here, there's a track now. Nothing's in it, but there's the track. But hey, what's this down here? It wants me to start recording my microphone that I'm speaking on. I don't want to do that. Not now, anyway. So close that, and there you can see it's just one track. Okay? And you've got some controls here. We'll get into some of those as we go along. For now, just leave them alone. Let's go now to the 3 dots on this track, and it's the track options. Click on it, and you get all these options. You can rename the track. I'll do that in a minute. But I want to do something called import. Import means bring the clips from your computer into this project file. So I'm going to click import, and it's saying, okay, what do you want to import? And I'm going to go to my hard drive. I'm going to go to my Grade 9 Tech, my radio commercial folder. I'm going to go to my radio commercial clips here, voice clips. I know it's the male voice, it's the first line of the script, and hey, I know it's clip 1 because I just told you that. So I'm going to double click it, or I can single click it and open. It's just better just double click. Bang, there it is. And now what you're looking at is your first clip inside of your Soundtrap project file. Now here's the deal. Here's what you got to really understand. Is number one, we're working online up in a browser tab. So you're not downloading this program at all. The other thing I want you to recognize is this right now is a project file. This is just giving this program a whole bunch of instructions as to what to do with the audio clips that we import. It's not an actual audio file that we can give to somebody else and play. I'll get into that more when we save the project. But we are creating a project file right now. Instructions for the computer. Now, here we are with our first track. Here's our first clip. I'm going to hit spacebar. This is our play bar here. Okay? So wherever you position this is where it will start to play from if you hit spacebar. You can go down here and hit play. Inconvenient. Right? Just use spacebar. Spacebar. You'll probably hear the sound.
Hello, dear. I'm making dinner tonight.
So that's the first line of the script. Oh, what's this over here? Let's keep playing. Spacebar.
Bacon and tomato sandwiches.
Okay, you remember in the earlier tutorial, I told you the first 2 lines that the male speaks are all on one clip. So this part here is the first line of the script. The second part here is the second line that the male speaks. So the first thing I'm going to do is say, well, let's separate those, okay? Because they don't belong together, because I'm going to have a female voice in the middle, and I'll show you that when I get to it. But the first thing we need to do is split this apart. And so how do we do it? Well, we go in this one, we have to first select it. So right now it's kind of a bright red. Select it, it goes slightly darker. This clip is now selected. Go to Edit and Split Region. And the shortcut is Control E on a Mac, on a Chromebook. Control E will split this clip into 2 parts. So watch, I'm going to just go Control E. It's Command E on a Mac. And then you see the little white indents there? It tells me that this is now 2 different parts. See that? This one clip is 2 parts. Now if I play this first part, spacebar.
Hello, dear. I'm making dinner tonight.
And that's the first line of script. And then the second section down here is the third line of the script, which is the second male clip.
Bacon and tomato sandwiches.
Okay, we're just going to leave this alone for now. Just move it out of the way. The bottom line is we've separated them from each other. Let's deal first with this first clip. Now, there's a couple things. If I zoom in, let me go between this track here and just make it bigger so you can see it. So I'm just dragging down. See the single arrow there? Drag down, make this taller so you can see it. And then I'm also going to use the magnifying glass down here bottom right, and I'm going to zoom in on my timeline. It'll zoom in wherever my play bar is. So my play bar right now is way down here. Why don't I take my play bar and put it here? And now let's zoom in, and look, it's zooming in wherever around the play bar. Now if you look, what do we see here? This is the actual voice clip. You can see the waveform of the audio here. It's called an audio waveform. I can see audio, not just hear it. Now, the taller the waveform, the louder the sound. The smaller the waveform, the softer the sound. So this might be just room noise or something. I don't know. I'll know when I get to it. When you have a flat line, it means there's no sound. Okay, so there's no sound in here really to speak of. So the first thing I'm going to do is clean this clip up a bit. I don't want to get too close to the actual words because I'll clip the beginning of the words. Just get it so you can clean off this junk here. How am I going to do it? Again, let's split this clip. There's two ways to do it. I'll show you two ways. One is just to go Command or Control E. Okay, oh, got to select the clip first. Control E, there. And then you can select it and delete it. And I've cleaned off this clip. Okay, if I want to bring it back, if I've made a mistake, say I've done it here and gone selected the clip, Control E, and then I delete this section by mistake and I've cut off some of the words.
Hello, dear.
Let me make it even worse. Select the clip, Control E, select, and now I've really brutalized this clip. Let's listen to this clip.
Hello, dear.
See, I've clipped the first word and a half. Now, here's the beautiful thing. You see this little slider down here on the bottom left? It's got a little sort of square bracket with an arrow. I think that's an arrow. Yeah, it's an arrow. You can actually click and drag that, and this is called non-destructive editing. I can drag out everything I just deleted. It didn't go anywhere. It just sort of removed it from the clip temporarily. And if you've made that mistake, oh, I can just drag it back in. So that's the other way. If I have my clip like that originally, I can go here and just drag it as well. I don't have to actually split it. I could do it that way. Okay? So that's called non-destructive editing because I haven't destroyed this clip in any way. Non-destructive is very important in editing, both video and audio. You can always get stuff back. Even if I delete this clip from this project, I didn't delete it from my computer. I just deleted it from my project file. So let me do that. Let me select it and delete it. Gone. Okay, let's go back and re-import. 3 dots, import. What do I want? I want the male clip, number 1. There it is. Oh, it's putting it where the play bar is. So let me drag it to the start. And let's zoom out now. So, oh, there's the 2 parts. Let's go in the middle here. Now this I do have to split because I can't drag the corners because I'm going to eliminate parts. So I put it in the middle, select the clip, gets darker, Command E, I've split it, and let's just move this out of the way. We'll deal with it later, okay? Just put it down what's called your timeline. This is your timeline. Now, here's the important thing about your timeline. You got to go to your settings, and you got to make sure that it's on time and not music-related stuff, beats. Make sure it's on time. And up here you'll see seconds, not like counting music beats, okay? Make sure, again, settings, it's on time. Crucial, you start that like this, okay? Or start this like that. There you go. So here's the first clip. We're going to clean it off. I could go in here with my play bar, tell it, okay, I want to split it there. It's way easier just to do this. Just go to the bottom left and drag it over. Now I'm going to zoom in a bit so I can make sure I'm not ruining any of the clip. Now I can really see the clip and I can take off a bit more, okay? And then I'm going to zoom out and look at the end. The end has the same thing. So now I'm going to take my play bar to the end of this clip, somewhere close. I'm going to zoom in on it, on the end of the clip. I'm going to go to the arrow, the square bracket, the arrow going the other way now. It faces the other way, and I'm just going to drag that. And I've now done what's called trimmed this clip. I've trimmed off the stuff I don't want at the beginning and the end. Okay, zoom out. Let's see where we are. Okay, the other clip is still down here on the far right. Let's zoom in one more. Notice that I'm not at 0, 0 right now. Look here on my play bar. Down here it tells me in time, in seconds, where I am with this play bar. Okay, I want this play bar to be at 0. 0, 0, 0, 0. 0 minutes and 0 seconds. And then I'm going to take this and I'm just going to drag it to that point. So this commercial starts at 0, 0 with this little bit of spacing right before it, okay? So there you go. My first clip is now placed in place. Let's play it, spacebar.
Hello, dear. I'm making dinner tonight.
Now, what you will notice is there is some space between those two lines. If I get in a jam like the voiceover guy did where my commercial's too long, I could go in here. I could select this clip and go Command Control E, and I could treat it now as two clips, and I could just reduce. Look, I can reduce that gap a little bit to save me some time. And then I simply drag that second clip to the first one, like so, and then play it, and it'll sound a little bit more rushed.
Hello, dear. I'm making dinner tonight.
Sounds a little too rushed to me. So I'm not going to trim anything now. What I'm going to do is just space it out. So I've just left a gap in here for the voice. And let's see if it sounds more natural.
Hello, dear. I'm making dinner tonight.
Still a little bit rushed. I'm going to drag it out a bit. So maybe I've saved just a little bit of time.
Hello, dear. I'm making dinner tonight.
Okay? And if I take this now to the end, I'm now 2 seconds into my commercial. Okay? So that's our first male clip. Now, is the second male clip next? No, let's go back to the script. So it's a back and forth between script. And if you look at the script, open it up, there it is. The next line is the female voice now. Says, oh, really? What are you making? Okay, so let's go now to our trap sound on our Google Chrome. Let's add a new track. Let's add a voices and microphone track, not music. Let's go again to the three dots and let's go to import. And now we're not looking for male voices. I'm going to click up here. It depends on what computer you're on. On a Chromebook, you will be on a Chromebook here. You just got to find the female voices, okay? Again, you shouldn't have these files in your downloads folder. They should be in your documents folder. So I'm going to bring in the female clip one. Okay, and it brought it to that track because I had it selected. Now, there's the female voice. Let's make it bigger. So what we're going to do first here, oops, it wants to start recording. Let's close that. Gives us way more space. I'm going to make that one bigger, and I'm going to make the male voice bigger because we're working with just the voices first. You're going to add all of the voices first and get this commercial to be within 30 seconds. That's job one. And making sure the two actors don't talk over each other and interrupt each other. I arbitrarily placed this clip of the female voice where the play bar was, which happened to be at the end of the first male clip. So let me play it and see how it sounds.
Dinner tonight.
Oh no, really? What are you making?
So that's her first voice. Now you notice I've got quite a pause here between the end of his clip, his first clip, and before she starts speaking. Again, that's all dead sound. So let's just trim that off. I'll use this method of trimming. I like it best. And I don't have to go too close to the words. And I'm just going to bring it a little bit closer. If I bring it too far so it's overlapping with the male voice, watch what's going to happen.
Making dinner tonight.
No,
See how she's speaking as he's speaking? No good.
I'm making dinner tonight.
No.
That's because his audio waveform is happening at the same time as her audio waveform. So we're simply going to reposition her voice. And we're going to get the gap like we did up here. We're going to get the gap so it sounds natural. But we don't have a lot of time to play with, so it's got to be a fairly tight when she comes in. Let's listen.
Dinner tonight.
Oh no,
Okay, not bad. I'm going to give it a little bit more of a gap. The bottom line is you can visually line things up, but to make a judgment on the timing of your commercial, you must play it in real time. You must listen to it, not just look at it, and then make your decisions based on what you hear, okay? So let's go I'm going to hit space bar again.
Making dinner tonight.
Oh no, really? What are you making?
Okay, good. I think that works pretty good. I might have to come back and adjust it later for time because it might be too long for 30 seconds, but I'll make that decision once I get everything in place. Right now, I'm getting the clips imported to their proper tracks. The male is going to be up here, female down here. To help me out, let's go to the name of this track. I can either go three dots, rename, or I can just double click the name and I can say male voice. Okay. I can double click Mike for the second track, or I can go rename, and I'm going to say female. It's really important you keep yourself organized. So you're going to have different sound effects and music. You're going to rename all your tracks. Okay, right now we're only working with these two tracks, the male voice and the female voice. Okay, so after the first male, let's listen to it from the start now. 000 on our counter. Make sure again that we're on time, not on any kind of music beats and stuff. Let's hit spacebar to play.
Hello, dear. I'm making dinner tonight.
Oh no, really? What are you making?
Okay, what are you making? And then it drags out. Let's zoom in. It'll zoom in wherever we place our play bar. Oops, too far. Way too far. Way too far. Oh, I went crazy. Okay, I'm going to give it a bit more of a gap. I'm going to clean it off here, and I'm going to trim it there. Okay, so if I zoom out, there you can see I've cleaned off the ends of the clips. Okay, the timing for me right now is working. Here's what you should keep in mind. Look at this gap here. Let's listen to it. You may have to reduce the length of this gap just like I reduced it up here by, again, how? Go to the clip on that track, select it so it's dark, okay? Put your play bar where you want to split it in half. Command E to split it. Now it's in two parts. Now I can go to the first part and trim off some of that area where there's no sound. Same with the second part. Zoom in a bit when you do this, okay? You don't want to go too far, okay? But if you do, you know you can just drag it back out, okay? So you can always go back and adjust because it's non-destructive editing, okay? And then I'm going to say, okay, let me close that gap a bit. And now perhaps, before I do that, let me show you something. Okay, so there it is there as one clip. I like the timing from the first male voice to the the first female. This clip ends at approximately 5 seconds, 5.8 seconds. Okay, well, let's cut out that gap now, like we just talked about. Select the clip, Command E. I'm going to drag this, and let's see how much time we actually save. 5.8, and let's see where we get it down to. Going to cut out the dead spot. I'm going to move this over. I'm going to listen to it before I decide.
Tonight.
Oh no, really? What are you making?
And I've saved like 0.4 seconds. I could probably squeeze that a bit tighter.
Tonight.
Oh no, really? What are you making?
5. I've saved about a half a second, which is valuable time. You're going to see as you edit this project. So that's where you can make up time, is by reducing the length of some of these gaps. If you make it too tight, like I'll make this too tight, I'll make it so there's hardly any gap, it doesn't sound natural. Now my clips aren't snapping to each other, which is kind of weird. There is a magnet tool up here. Mine's not working for some reason. I have to figure out why. Snap to grid. You got to make sure that the magnet is selected. Okay, and now let's listen to it.
Oh no, really? What are you making?
It's a little bit too close, a little too tight. I'm going to space it out a bit. Just a bit.
Tonight.
Oh no, really? What are you making?
Okay, 5.2. So I've saved about a half a second in this commercial already just in the first two clips. That's pretty good. So that's where you can make up time as you go. Okay, I'm going to take you one more clip further. It's the second male line of the script, which is where he says, double click you. He says bacon and tomato sandwiches. Okay, so remember I told you that the second line of the script for the male is part of the first clip. So we've already separated those. So just as a reminder, I've already got that imported here. So let's go minus, minus, minus on our timeline. There it is there. Okay, let's go and play it.
Hello, dear.
Oops, it's playing this range here. I don't want to play this range. I want to play over here.
Hello, dear. I'm making dinner tonight.
Oh no, really?
I don't want to play a range. There. Deselect that range.
Bacon and tomato sandwiches.
So if I click up here, it's selecting a range to play. I don't want to play that. So just click down on where is it here? Just click it to turn it off and on. You don't want to play that range. This program, I'm getting used to it as well. So if it's purple, it means it's only going to play the area contained in here, which is handy if you're just zeroing in on something like that. If you hit play now,
Hello, dear.
it'll play
I'm
both
making
of these
dinner
clips.
tonight.
Oh no, really? What are you making?
Okay. I want to play over here now, so turn that range off by clicking on it. Take your play bar to where you want to listen. Let's make sure it's the right bacon and tomato sandwiches.
Bacon and tomato sandwiches.
Good. Okay, I know that's the correct thing. Let's get rid of this. That's where we split it before. Let's trim it. We know we can do that. Let's trim this. We know we can do that. And let's take this clip now and drag it. So the beginning, called the end point, the beginning of this clip, the end point, starts after she's finished talking. So we got to zoom in. Take our scroll bar down here to scroll at the beginning. I'm going to do it visually to start. It can overlap this part where there's no sound. It can overlap with her voice a bit. Let me just drag this out. So I could have this dead sound here, no sound, overlapping with hers. The main thing is the actual waveform cannot overlap. So I'm going to just trim this back a bit. Okay. And let's play it from here now. Take this play bar here.
What are you making?
Bacon and tomato sandwiches.
And again, the judgment you're making now, does that sound natural? And I think it does. Let's play it from the start. Let's listen. Is there anything that sounds sort of unnatural, that is rushed, or somebody's talking over somebody or anything else? Let's just see. There's the first 3 lines of the script.
Hello, dear. I'm making dinner tonight.
Oh no, really? What are you making?
Bacon and tomato sandwiches.
Okay, great. I think it sounds really good. Now, before we move on and you're going to start to edit on your own, I'm going to show you one more trick. Remember I said this commercial must come in under 30 seconds, okay? So I'm going to scroll down to the 30-second mark, and I'm going to do something called back timing. Back timing means you start at the end of a project or a video. So I'm at 30 seconds right on, just good click by me there. That is the longest that this commercial can possibly run. So I'm going to just back it off. I'm going to give myself a bit of, I'll take it to 29.8. As long as it's under 30, or a radio station will reject it, okay? So why am I doing this? I'm saying this point right here is the very furthest that any sounds can be heard. All sounds after this point must be done. So what am I going to do? I'm going to use the female voice tagline, and I'm going to place it now so it sort of creates like a bit of a bumper. So nothing, I know visually, can't go, the male voice can't go into that. I can't move it. It's got to stay there. So what do I mean? Let's go and import. I'm just going to bring it, okay, import. I'm going to import the final female voice, which should be the tagline. It puts it after the play bar, so I'm going to move it. And I'm going to make sure with the play bar at 29.8 seconds that her voice is done. And I'm just going to trim up the beginning of, trim up the beginning of her voice too. So now, if I play this, it should be the tagline and it should be ending before 30 seconds.
Uber Eats. Fast food without the accidents.
29.8, look at that. This works. That is the last possible sound I can hear in this commercial. You notice I have a gap there. I could move this closer if I'm finding I'm running out of space in my commercial. So there is a gap there I could tighten a little bit like we've done in the first couple of clips. There's also a bit of a gap there. But don't tighten it too much or it starts to sound unnatural. But I'd like you to do this. I'd like you to place the first 3 lines of script, male voice on top, female on the bottom. Why? Simply because we start with the male voice. Not because it's a male voice or female voice. It's because it's the first line of the script. Okay, and then the last thing I'd like you to do is go to 29, anything under 30, 29, anywhere from 29.5 to 29.9. You're going to find you're going to need every little split second you can, so like 29.8 is a good number. Put your play bar there, import the female tagline, and make sure it ends before 30 seconds. Once you've done all that, the last thing you need to do before you go any further is to save your project, because you'd hate to lose all of your work that you've spent time working on already. Okay, so there you can see our project. Let me just zoom in a bit. Okay, so the beginning of the project is on the left. There's the tagline on the right. Let's go to File, Save As. Do not use save. You're just going to keep saving it over top of itself. Not a good idea. Save As, and you're going to give it a name. You're going to call this, and I don't know what your naming protocol or method is in your class. Mine is student first name. I'll use my last name, Snyder, underscore, project name now, radio commercial, original I'm going to call it, or I'll call it recreation. It's a better one, recreation, underscore V1 for version 1. Okay, so I know this is my first version, and I'm going to click OK. And it's saving the project now, and it saves it online. Okay, so this is all online. You don't have to save it to your computer. What I highly recommend you do right now is save it a second time. File, Save As, and just change the name to V2. Okay, so now I'll have 2 versions saved online. And that way it's just in case. You just never know. Okay, so when we open it up in the next tutorial, we should be able to see 2 versions of this project. So get this part done, and then we'll move on.